when we are the underdogs, when we don't have the weight on our shoulders, we're the ones that actually more likely to overperform. When we have the titles and these games in hand where we just simply have to just do our part, that's when we've been falling short in recent years. So I think this is thankfully going to be in our favor for this sort of occasion. And tactically, you're looking at Ancelotti. He's famous for his 4-3-3, but his Madrid side can be pretty adaptable in their shape, especially with the addition of Jude Bellingham, as you mentioned this season. In the small sample size I've watched from Madrid this year, Jude has taken on a few different roles. He's played primarily as a number 10, even as a second striker with Vinicius, as like a 4-2-3-1 or 4-2-4 at times in build-up. And Madrid just, they have a very strong midfield, again, with that 4-3-3 of theirs. But like any team, there is space to be exploited. In this case, I think with Madrid, it could be find that space out wide, which is favorable for us, given how Sancho obviously thrives in 1v1 situations. Adeyemi, Malin, JBG all have pace and skill to use. For those who haven't heard, Madrid are actually also going to have Tchouaméni absent for the game, which is a huge blow for their midfield. I mean, as they operate through him, as him being primarily that single pivot.
Who'd you say? Tchouaméni?
I think it's Tchouaméni. I mean, I've heard different ways, but either way,
just
imagine.
Just want to throw both pronunciations out there, for anyone who might be debating it themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, bigger net. I got you.
Tchouaméni. I don't know.
I imagine Kroos will take on that role of the single pivot now that Tchouaméni is going to be absent, with Camavinga slotting into that midfield, and that's probably going to be my best guess. Both Jude and Vinicius are known to drop deep to receive the ball in order to quickly advance in the play and progress up the field. So, and of course, I don't have to get into just how dangerous Jude is in those positions when he drops deep, grabs the ball, and just drives forward with it. That's exactly what Dortmund have been missing this entire year so far. So that's huge for them. And it's, of course, going to be really tough for us to stay very tight to him, stay very focused, and of course, very organized as a unit as well in order to prevent those moments. And of course, out of possession too, Ancelotti values aggression and intense man-to-man marking, which again is something that we've been struggling with this year. It's a number of oppositions of different qualities. So I imagine the game is going to be heavily controlled by Madrid. So we're going to be likely attacking on the counter attack. They do have moments of setting up as like a mid block, but that first line of pressure is usually always pushing forward to keep oppositions pinned back. So again, another fault of ours and just shortcoming of ours this year has just been our build-up play, and that's going to be on full display for the world to see, and hopefully us not exposed too much. But that'll be another massive test for our back line to try to progress the ball at the field. And if it's got to be one more game of Kobel hoofing it forward for Füllkrug to get that lucky touch onto whatever winger, that might just be so be it at that point. But, unlike Atletico or PSG, even at certain spells in those two legs, Madrid is going to be pressing. They're going to, I would imagine they're not going to let us play out of the back like Atletico or PSG, and it's going to be a much more intense game. So a lot of our shortcomings as a team is going to be against, this Madrid side who can pick apart those weaknesses, but hopefully we could just, again, stick to our strengths. I know we had a test match against, I think it was like the U21s or something like that, either today or earlier sometime this week. I forgot to check. But hopefully we could test out some of those ideas from the things that we mentioned and have a contingency plan and some counters ready to go. Because, again, there are some weaknesses that we can point out for Madrid as well. And like I mentioned, too, the spaces out wide. They don't have the best fullbacks. I mean, Lucas Vazquez has been pretty poor for them this season. And I imagine he'll be starting, if not Carvajal. But I think Adeyemi could have a hell of a time on that left-hand side for that sort of thing. I mean, of course, if that's not working out, you can later throw in the game JBG. Malin has been, thankfully, he got a good goal against Darmstadt at the end of the season, so hopefully he's got a little bit more confidence in him. But, yeah, I mean, either way, it's going to be a cracker of a game.